The Washington Post, the Washington Compost, has published another conspiracy theory that has started widespread panic amongst the liberals. Quote, the CIA assessment says Russia was trying to help Trump win the White House. The top trend on Twitter Friday night. This from the same news outlet that published this fake news story about the fake news, starting the fake news scare, which they later basically retracted, added an editorial note that the prop or not supposed experts that are identifying the fake news pretty much have zero credibility whatsoever. Despite the story propelling the topic to the top trend on Twitter Friday night, the article actually goes on to say, if you go past the incendiary headline, quote, the CIA presentation to senators about Russians' let me correct this for them. Russians' supposed intentions fell short of a formal assessment. A senior U.S. official said there were disagreements among intelligence officials about the agency's assessment, in part because some questions remain unanswered. For example, intelligence agencies do not have specific intelligence, showing officials at the Kremlin directing the alleged identified individuals, the suspected identified individuals, to pass Democrat emails to WikiLeaks. Let me just repeat that. The CIA does not have specific intelligence showing officials in the Kremlin directing the identified individuals to pass Democratic emails to WikiLeaks. Do you remember Guccifer, that hacker who hacked into Colin Powell's emails, as well as other top officials in the United States government and George W. Bush's sister's email, obtaining personal paintings that George W. Bush had painted and then sent photos of to her? Yes, the Romanian hacker Guccifer was sentenced to 52 months in U.S. prison, and guess what? He had no connection to any government anywhere. He was simply a lone wolf. Do you remember when all those A-list celebrities like Jennifer Lawrence and others had their nudes hacked and taken from their iCloud accounts and published? Well, guess what? That hacker was discovered, and he was sentenced to prison, and he also had zero connection to any government agency. Something that you might think would happen with such a sophisticated attack. But no, just one guy. Do you remember the hacker who hacked into John Brennan's email, the head of the Central Intelligence Agency? Well, guess what? He was a teenager who had zero connections to any government anywhere. A lone wolf teen hacker simply did it by himself. But the same newspaper who started the fake news witch hunt, which they later had to basically admit was fake news in and of itself, is now claiming through their supposed sources that the CIA has assessed that Russia was at least trying to help Donald Trump win the White House. Do you know which country has been identified as the top espionage threat against the United States? Well, thanks to Edward Snowden, and you will never hear this in any major mainstream media outlet ever, anywhere, from a Republican or a Democrat, leaked documents, thanks to Edward Snowden, reveal that the National Security Agency sees Israel as the top threat to the United States via espionage. So while the liberal media is continuing to blame supposed fake news being spread through Facebook and Russian hackers for Hillary Clinton losing the election, remember when President Obama told Donald Trump to quit whining when he was concerned about possible election fraud? Let's listen to that clip again.
I have never seen in my lifetime or in modern political history any presidential candidate trying to discredit the elections and the election process.
You're talking about Hillary Clinton, right? I mean, she's obviously trying to undermine the democratic process and undermine the victory of Donald Trump. Right, Obama?
It's unprecedented.
It is unprecedented. Shame on you.
It happens to be based on no facts.
Oh!
Every expert, regardless of political party, regardless of ideology, conservative or liberal, who has ever examined these issues in a serious way will tell you that instances of significant voter fraud are not to be found.
Oh. It's very strange how the liberals are trying to blame Russia for supposedly interfering with our election when President Obama was insulting Mitt Romney back when they were facing off against each other in 2012 for raising concerns about Russia. Take it away, Obama.
When you were asked what's the biggest geopolitical threat facing America, you said Russia. Not Al-Qaeda, you said Russia. In the 1980s are now calling to ask for their foreign policy back because the Cold War's been over for 20 years.
Tell that to Hillary Clinton, Obama. Tell that to the Washington Compost, who keep blaming Russia for Hillary Clinton losing. Hillary, why do you think you lost?
The epidemic of malicious fake news and false propaganda that flooded social media over the past year. It's now clear that so-called fake news can have real-world consequences.
This is too much fun. I'm Mark Dice, thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you're new and check back here every day for new reports, and I'll see you soon.